should be able to hear me. But oh, and just for those who are curious, just for those who are curious, um, I did just do, I do a lot of live breakdowns, and I just finished editing one. It's like an hour long, but I'm gonna split into two parts. So, um, that should be uploaded on YouTube. It's either gonna be uploaded this tomorrow or next week. So I have some other videos planned for you guys as well. It's probably gonna be uploaded tomorrow since I think a lot of people are gonna do well. Plymouth, can you hear me? Just leave in the chat. Just type in the chat yes or no if you can hear me. Sure. Okay, cool. All right, just okay. Wow, we're getting some good amount of people now. All right, so if I'm running Google Ads to a landing page, does the client need to choose a domain name or do I choose the generic one? Does it matter? That's a great question. So pretty much your domain name should, because think of it this way. If you go to a website, you expect to see the business's name. So put yourself in the client's shoes for the most part, right? So, I mean, not the client's shoes, the customer's shoes. So, if let's say I'm looking for a solar panel installations, right? If I click on a link that just says solar panels, and then I see it's like a business name and everything, I think that's going to be kind of weird. So pretty much you want to incorporate, the name of the business with the domain, with the hot keyword you're looking for. So for example, if you do, let's say the business's name is Solar R Us. So then you can do, Solar R Us, solar panels, .com or whatever. So it doesn't really matter, but if you have like the keyword in the domain, it kind of helps with the Google quality score. But if you have the name of the business in the domain as well, it gives the customer an expectation of, okay, I'm in the right place, I'm in the right area. So it doesn't really so in Google eyes, a generic one's fine, but like in your customer's shoes, they're expecting to go to a website, they're expecting to see, the name of the business and stuff. So that's my answer to that. So so pretty much you can choose the domain name. I would recommend you do it as well because not Google, the Google ads best. And honestly, unless the client has really strict demands on what domain he wants, then you can just choose whatever domain name as long as it's the business name and the hot keyword itself. And then you can honestly, I just get one for my client. It's like if you go on GoDaddy, they're like $10 because they always give you like a free, like a heavily discounted coupon or whatever. But just know it's for like a year subscription. So if you keep a client for the year, that's great and all. But um, if you don't, then you can always just cancel that as well. It's only like $10, so it's not like it's gonna break the bank, and it lasts for the year. So you can choose the domain name, and I recommend you do. Just have the business name and the hot keyword. And Jeremy asks, do you have any tips for email marketing? So it depends on your goal for email marketing. So like, what are you trying to do? So most of the time, email marketing is just mainly to give out content. So what you want to do is you want to, when someone first joins your email list, you send them an email. Wouldn't the client's business domain name already be taken? I'm going to get to that. Let me just answer Jeremy's questions first. Um, so when you send an email, you want to, add value to the person's life because if you go onto someone's email address, they have literally tons and tons of promotional emails that's telling people to buy this, buy that, 50% off, 50% sale, it has all this stuff in it. It's all trying to sell, and pretty much the customer's not really getting much out of that. That's what the big brands do. If you're like, just starting out, or you don't have that many emails, you want to add value first. So, why did someone join your email list? So they want to get like newsletters, they want to get value. So let's say you're doing an SMMA email newsletter. So you want to, give value. Like, okay, how do you get clients, the best prospecting method, et cetera, et cetera. You want to just give value in like the first, 3 or 4 emails, and then after you've given a lot of value, then you can start to make a pitch. So then, in your 5th email, you could say, hey, I'm teaching this and that. You give some value in the beginning, and then you say, hey, I'm selling this, for like a 20% discount now. You could buy it now, clicking through this link, or you lead someone to this page to watch a webinar, watch a video, and then buy a product. So and then, after that, if they're still, along your email train, then you can offer like a coupon saying, hey, we're having this sale for, 50% off your purchase of this SMMA ebook or whatever. This SMMA ebook or whatever. So then you can, then, you're not gonna get as many conversions, but you sent only value already, and then you send one sales message, and people don't mind that. So if you keep saying, hey, we have a coupon, hey, we have a coupon, hey, we have a coupon, people are gonna get like, okay, he's just trying to sell me, he's not really giving me any value. I didn't join that newsletter to just be sold to. So then they're gonna leave your email marketing campaign. So that's my tips for email marketing. You just want to, add value. You want to understand, okay, why do they join my email list? And then once you know why they joined your once you know why they joined your email list, you can give them what they want. And then once you give them what they want, you say, hey, give them what you want more, give them more content. You can sell to them, and then you repeat the process over and over again. It's just like a cycle like that. So that's my tips with email marketing, and that's what most people do with email marketing for the most part. But yeah. So overall, if you need any more specific answers, just simply leave them in the comments below. And why wouldn't the client's business domain already be taken? It's because you're not using their exact business domain. So for example, this recent client that I just got, he has his own business name, but what I do is I add the business name plus the hot keyword. So for example, if he does kitchen remodeling, and let's say his business name is calculator kitchen remodeling, right? Let's say his business name is calculator remodeling. So I would just buy a domain that says calculator kitchen remodeling, or calculator kitchen remodels, and that domain name is not going to be taken. So you can even do something sneaky. So if his business name is calculator kitchen remodels, you could just say calculator kitchen remodeling, because it's a very similar enough. It's similar, but it's saying ing instead of s. That's a completely different domain. So you don't even have to be that creative. It's just you think of, okay, what's the business name? Think of the keyword, and then you can just combine them together. And most of the time, that should work for you when you're running their landing page. So it's not going to be already taken because you're not using the same one. You're using a slightly different one. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the chat. Or if you're not even questions or comments, if you have any comments, or if you want to see more videos about a specific topic, feel free to also leave them in the chat as well. Yeah, no worries. Or like if you're also just having, maybe you don't know any questions, but you're just having like a sticking point. Let me know what stage you are in your SMMA journey, so that way I could maybe give you the proper things, the proper directions you need to do in order to get to that next level overall. I know I said 12. I don't know why I thought 12:30, and then I was even late for that. One thing very bad habit of mine is that I'm late a lot. Very bad habit. But yeah. Excellent connection. I like that. Plymouth, do you have any more questions or any more, do you have any, like, are you stuck with any step? Because, with SMMA, there's there's always something that you need to improve upon. Even for me, like, I am far, far, far from where I want to be with SMMA. But, you know, if you're just striving to it, if you're just working towards it, you're going to be okay. Okay, so you want to know if it's possible to use case studies in my VSL tailored to lawyers, and so present myself as a journalist so that I can target multiple niches. So you can do that, but I would highly recommend against it. And there are easy ways to make different VSLs or VCLs that are targeted for a specific niche. So, um, so pretty much you can use that, but the way I make a VSL is actually very intuitive. So pretty much I use like a screen recorder. You can use, I don't think you can use Loom anymore because you have to pay for that now. But since I do a lot of YouTube videos, I have my own video recording setup. So I can pretty much cut and piece together specific slides together. So I can like rearrange my VSL anytime I want to, or I could, you know, um, I can rearrange it. I could do whatever I want with it, pretty much. So that's it. Just so that way I don't have to be perfect the first time when I make my my VSL. So what you want to do is if you want to, you can use the case studies from lawyers in your general one because lawyers are as long as it's a local business and as long as you've done it, as long as it's the same concepts you're doing, it's overall going to be the same thing. But um, the thing is, if you want to get more, like, if you want to get clients more invested in you, it's best to make a VSL that's, very targeted towards what they want. So, for example, I work with I work with contractors for the most part. So I kind of got lucky there because it's like, contractors could include roofers, solar, remodeling, all these different things, but it's all under the same thing of home improvement. So in your case, maybe you have a case study of like a DUI lawyer, but you can also do, that those lawyers also include divorce lawyer, crime lawyers, maybe parental rights or child support lawyer. I don't know the type of lawyers and stuff. So so what I would do is I would make it general towards lawyers in general because there are so many lawyers out there, and you can outreach to a lot of them. So what you can do is just generally just reach out to a lot of lawyers out there and just, if you have a specific DUI lawyer, put that there. But, it's going to be the same regardless, right? So what I mean by that is it's going to be like, since DUI lawyer and, car accident lawyer, it's gonna be the same overall concepts that they want to see in the VSL. But however, like if you want to reach out to a dentist, you know some concepts from what lawyers want and what dentists want are going to be slightly different. So for example, dentist wants patients, but lawyers wants cases and stuff like that, right? But the thing is, that's very easy to change. So you can, if you want to make it general, you could just say customers, but you're not really speaking their language, and you're gonna have a lot of a not hard. It's gonna be a lot harder to convince someone if you're not speaking their language. It's like, let's say you don't speak Spanish. It's like trying to convince someone in English. That's like trying to, speak English to someone who only speaks Spanish to join, to work with you for the most part. It is possible. You can possibly do it, but it's going to be a heck of a lot harder to do that. So the thing is, it's not that hard to tailor it to a specific niche. You can just change up a few slides here and there, because the basic structure of what you do is the same exact thing. It's just maybe instead of saying cases here, you say we can increase your patient volume here. Or another thing you can do is just find, if you really want to keep it general, just find things that they both want, and then just keep it in that industry, and just put that in the VSL. So for example, both lawyers and dentists, they're gonna want phone calls. So instead of just saying maybe customers, maybe saying phone calls, because that's closer to what they want, and you're still speaking to both of them for the most part, right? It's better if you say patients or cases, but if you say, hey, we can increase the amount of phone calls you get from people who want to work with you, that's a kind of a way around it. So that way you're still speaking they're still speaking their language, even though it's not the exact language. It's like speaking you know Spanglish, or like you can speak Spanish in some words, but it's still overall in English. They have a better time understanding you. So it is possible, but it's not the most effective. But just having a VSO by itself, that already takes you a level above a lot of other people, because many other businesses, many other, especially marketing agencies, don't have a VSL, let alone a good one. So if because of that, they are just it's a lot harder to sell to the clients, and if it's a lot easier to sell to someone once they know exactly what you do, and once they see of how it can help them get to where they want to be. Because if they watch it, it's a lot better than um, from you saying it to them outright. Because in the VSL, you're not really trying to sell them. You're just telling them, what you do, and like, how you've helped people beforehand, and that's just the best thing. And once they see that, it's like, oh, okay. They kind of put themselves in those testimonials. They kind of put themselves in the those case study shoes, and then they said they see themselves in there. So that when they call you, they already see themselves, working with you, and becoming one of your clients overall. So long story short, it is possible, but just not the best thing to do. Hopefully that answers your question. If you got, I know I talk a lot. I go on just to make sure I get every single detail, but just let me know if you have any more specific points or anything like that. I think it's here. That's fine. And I'll probably do more of these live streams within the coming weeks. It's just getting everything organized and stuff. I'm just on this. Oh, does it only show that? Oh, that's annoying. Hold on. Let's choose that. There we go. So now you guys should be able to see the screen plus the chat. Oh wow, that's annoying. Oh well. Live and learn with these live streams. Yeah, so that's a great question. Um, I just go through the contact page because this is how I think of it. If someone goes through the contact page, it's like almost a guaranteed open, right? So if I get an email, um, even if the subject line is not compelling enough, I'm not gonna open it. And business owners, they get a lot of emails trying to sell to them, so they're just not gonna open it. But if I see something that's like, oh, this could be from a prospective customer, the subject line could be, you know, the subject line doesn't really matter. You may not even have to use a subject line. Um, they're still going to be able to read the message. And for the most part, on the contact page, from what I've noticed, is because you can have an email address, but that doesn't mean it's the person, the decision maker, who's going to be the one to approve whether you sign on with the client or not. For the contact page, if they're interested, they're going to most likely be directed to um, it's going to be directed to the person you need to speak to for the most part, or like it's going to be forwarded to them, or a good amount of people in the company see it, so it's going to be there. It's going to be there. So if you have an email list of targeted people, that is fine and that works. But if you do the contact page, your message is guaranteed to be seen. Some people, I've gotten some messages being like, oh, that's shame on you for using it to find, shame on you to, this is for customers only, etc., etc. Honestly, if the fact that they respond to you with that is actually like a good sign, because that means that you don't want to work with them. And it's like they would have just been, pestering with you anyway. And most of the time it just doesn't. I think out of all the messages I sent through that, I think only one of them was like that. Only one person said that to me, and I just laughed and I deleted it. So, one other thing is, the thing you do have to be careful about though, if on the contact page it says do not, message to solicitate, our business or whatever, like no solicitation messages, then you just want to find an email and email them, because what's gonna happen is if you do email them, they're just gonna be like, okay, you don't even read, then you just have no chance with getting that client, and then that's not going to get you into any trouble at all. But it's like a guaranteed, you can't read, you can't follow directions, and they're not gonna listen to you. So in that, if they say please don't leave any solicitation messages there, um, then it's just better just to email them overall. So it's a depends on the case. Um, the very very best case scenario is you if you find the business owner on Facebook, LinkedIn, and you message them from there, because they're gonna always check, their Facebook message chat or their LinkedIn chat. That's the best. That's the very very best case scenario. You can also do both. There's nothing wrong with doing both. So like if you send a message to the contact page, um, and then you don't get a response, send them an email as well. Doesn't the message on the contact page also go into the email? So isn't the same thing? I'm actually prospecting on sites like Yelp. I was just thinking I should message on the site. Oh, okay. Um, I would not message if you're going to go onto directories and do that. Um, excuse me, I'm hungry. Do not message on the directory itself. So, for example, um, for contractors, a big site is House. So when I used to message people on House, um, House explicitly says, "Do not message us for solicitation." Like you can't message anyone for solicitation, right? So sometimes, like even if you do click on the website link, it leads to like a House affiliated link website or whatever. and you still leave a message, then that's when business owners got like kind of really mad at me. And one of them even claimed that they reported me. I don't think they did anything, but um, you generally don't want to message them on the Yelp, on like the Yelp page or whatever directory that you're using. Simply just because you just don't want to. The point of them being on a directory is for them to get customers and stuff. You you want to, and it seems like the lazy way as well, because they know if they get a message from you from Yelp, you've sent it to like every other business from Yelp. So it just shows that you're not researching the business. It shows that you're just playing the numbers game. But if you just go onto their website and go into their contact page, um, then yeah, then that works. And as far as isn't contact email the same thing? It is the same exact thing. But with an email address, you don't know the history of the email address. Same thing with the contact page, because many people have contact pages that are just simply broken as well. So I mean, it is like a you pick your poison type of game. But with the email address, it could just be going to one person, and that person might not be the decision maker, and they might just ignore your email overall. The contact page, most of the time, the business owner or someone who is responsible for the marketing will see the contact page information that you put. So it is the same thing, but it's like a different pick your poison type of thing. So with the contact page, you're pretty much sending one message and you're hoping that it's going to get to the right person. With the email address, I mean, if you're completely certain that this is going to lead to the right person, then it's 10 times better. But it's just if you're just scraping from a list, um, it could just be like a bad email address, especially if you don't clean it. Also, just any info at businessname.com. Those are also good email addresses to do. Because what can happen is what happens for the most part sometimes is you send them an email, and then I leave my phone number in the email, or like when you're filling out the contact information, you leave your phone number. Um, then they end up calling me, and then they say, oh, I'd like to book it, like, oh, you want to book an appointment with us. I'm like, oh no, I'm trying to help you guys get more appointments. Wouldn't be a good time to talk. And then usually from there, I get, I actually book an appointment, or they give me the name and number of someone who I need to speak to book that appointment as well. So, either it's just a pick your poison type of thing. Thanks, I have better clarity on this. So glad that you do. So how would you suggest I submit yourself? I tailor my to a niche which I have no case studies in, or simply present the service and offer a free trial? It's a great question. Um, if you have no experience in that niche, you want to pretty much sell the dream for the most part, right? So you know what they want. So let's go with the common. Let's go with dentist. Especially since I'm eating an apple. Um, you know that dentist wants new patients, so you want to structure your VSL so that way it shows them the step-by-step method of how they get patients overall, right? And what you can do, I really highly suggest that you get permission first. Is use someone else's case studies, but if you're directly using someone else's case studies, then you want to get permission from them to use it and stuff like that. If you don't know anyone who's gotten good results with dentists, you can just simply go online and just look up case studies for dentists, and you really want to stress the importance of like this company did this and got this result, and from there you can say, I know exactly what they did. You want to say that, okay, exactly step by step what the company did to get you to get this company X results. You can say, I know the targeting. If you're doing Facebook ads, I know the targeting, the keyword research, the landing page they use. I know. You want to say, what aspects of it do you actually know about? Or you want to use that case study to build, how great, Facebook ads or Google ads can be. So if you say, oh hey, with the help of Google Ads, this company was able to help this 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 business get to this goal, and it gets people kind of excited, and most people they don't know Facebook ads, they don't know Google Ads, but your VSL is going to show them that your services, and it's going to show that Facebook and Google Ads very well. So from there, then you can offer a free trial, or just a low cost trial overall. If you do a free trial, just make sure it's at maximum 2 weeks, because you don't want to do it for way too long, because other than that, they're just taking advantage of you. I would just do a week trial, and you don't have to get them stellar results in that 1 week. If you do, I mean, that's great for you. But if you can show that you can generate them leads and you can get them some business, then yeah, they're gonna stick with you, because they don't. What most businesses are like nowadays, what most local businesses are, what a lot of them want to do is they first say they want to start off slow, so they may not give you much ad spend, but they're not expecting you to get them like, you know, 50 leads with, $500 of ad spend, right? If you do, that's amazing. You should share how you do it. But what they expect from you is to um, get, like, maybe, you know 5 to 7 leads, and they say, oh, okay, he's giving me 5 to 7 leads, and they also want to assess the quality of those leads as well. So if they're able to set appointments with those leads, if they even make a sale with some of those leads, then they're going to be happy, and they're going to stick with you, they're going to work with you, and then they'll give you a testimonial, they'll give you all that stuff. So pretty much, um, you want to set it up so that, like, you want to show what's possible from the Google or the Facebook ads. You want to show what's possible, and you want to show um, that you are the one that can make that a reality. But you want to just make sure that you explain that, hey, I didn't actually generate these case studies. This was another company, but I know the exact strategies that they did to generate those results, to get you similar results. And just, you always want to make a guarantee that, not guarantee, but like, you want to make it that, like, you are not going to promise, just don't promise clients the moon, because they expect to go to Mars when you say you can take them to the moon. So always, especially when you're just starting out, it can just seem easy just to, like, overpromise, but just try to underpromise, and you have to be, like, realistic with the client. Just be like, hey, with this ad spend, you can only realistically, get X and X results, and clients are gonna respect that you said that to them, other than saying, oh yeah, I can get you, 100 leads for only $50 of ad spend. And then once you realize, once you feel like that, they're not gonna trust you anymore, and then it's over for you. And yeah, so pretty much you want only include one of those case studies. Don't go overboard with that. Just include one, and then present your service with the VSL structure, and then offer a free trial if you're just starting out. Overall, offer to do like a free week trial, and then if the client's still hesitant, do a free 2-week trial, but don't go any farther than that, because after that, it becomes too much of a burden of your time. So I hope that answers your question, Farron, Plymouth. So yeah, keep asking away. I'm probably gonna stay on here till 2 p.m. on my time. So, and I'm gonna probably do more of these live streams just during the week. I'll probably set like a poll, something like that. That's my stream health. Excellent, good stuff. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do more of these live streams. Probably want to make them weekly. I'll probably leave a poll in the group of, like, when's the best day and time you'd want me to do live streams. It should be fun. So yeah, if you have any more questions, open book. You guys are getting it all. Leave them in the chat. Okay, good. So it is showing the chat now. Good. It is showing the chat. It is showing the chat. If you haven't already, leave a like on this live stream. Really helps you out. If I answer your question, please leave a like. Really helps out the channel. Helps it reach to a wider audience, so that way we're all good with SMMA. Who would give me permission to use their case studies as proof of concept and trust me to credit them? If you could clarify. People you've built relationships with beforehand. So maybe you've talked to a person in like one of the groups or in my group in some of the bigger Facebook ads or Google ads group. So just if you build a relationship with them, that's one thing you can use. What a lot of people do as well is, even though I don't recommend you do this at first, is that they get a contractor with their case studies. They get a contract with their case studies and they use them. But most people who hire contractors first have no idea how to get SMMA clients overall. So the contractors end up getting no work overall. But it's mostly just people you've built relationships before in the past. Like you can't just go into a group and just say, hey, I'm looking for case studies to use with their permission. Like please, DM me or something like that. You can't really do that. Just people that you've built relationships with, and it doesn't have to be a long relationship. Maybe, on the group, you asked a question, they commented on it, you DM'd them, and you build a relationship with them. She's like, oh hey, you seem pretty cool. Like, hey, I'm trying to set up my own SMA agency. Would love to use one of your case studies in my video sales letter. I would give you credit. I would give you everything, but this would just help me, build trust with the client and stuff like that. But obviously, you don't want to stress. I mean, you do want to stress that hey, this is another company did this, but you kind of don't want to say the exact name of the company that did this, because what might happen is that the business owner is just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to go to this company. Unless you say, unless you offer the free trial first, or if you say like, hey, I'm trying to offer you a free trial, or you can say that you can do this, get the same results for a much cheaper price, then it's fine to put the exact company name. But it's just people you've built relationships with, or if you have a contractor already, use their case studies, or look up on Google, give them credit, give them post the link of the case study data and stuff like that. Like when people post links of the stats, 50% of people are male, 20% are female, or whatever. Post the link of the stats that people of where you found it, so that way it's honest, and they could do some more research on it if they can. And like I said before, you don't want to keep pushing that you've using other people's case studies. Just take one, put it in the middle, and then use the VSL structure from there. You don't want to use a lot of them, because then there's going to be okay, what has this kid actually done? Oh, what's this person actually done? And if you another interesting way is, if you do have some money behind you, is just to be your own case study. So if let's say you have an extra, I don't know your money situation, but if you have some money, you can just run your own Facebook ads, run your own Google ads, get some leads, get some clicks, and then boom, you have your own case study right there. And you can just say hey, I ran, what you can do is you can offer, if you're doing something on Facebook, offer something for free, and just be like, hey, I was able to get, this cost per lead, giving away this free lead magnet or whatever, and then what you can also do is once you do that, you're your own case study. You can make a case study about that, and then that could be the thing that gets the client overall, and for the most part. So you could just be your own case study, run your own ads, make an ebook, or pay someone on Fiverr $5 or $10 to make an SMMA ebook for you, and just be like, run a Facebook ad to it, get some results with it, be like, hey, I was able to get results, so I know what I'm doing. Because any case study is better than no case study at all. And any of your case studies is better than someone else's case studies as well. So that's what, if you do have some money, that's what I would do. Or, since you're offering a free trial, you can just offer the free trial. Most people don't care if they're getting it for free. Then they're gonna be fine if you don't have any case studies, because they know that you're just starting out, so they don't expect much. And you can make it a real no-brainer if you say, hey, I'll pay for the ad spend as well. So if you just go in there and message, like, all businesses saying, hey, I would like to get you some free leads, I'll cover the ad spend as well. You don't even need to show them anything. They'll be like, okay, when can we get started? Because if someone came to you and just say, hey, I'll pay for everything for you to get more clients, you're gonna easily take that deal. I mean, don't expect to send one message and then get a response back and be like, yeah. Don't expect to send like one message and then for them to be like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely do it. Yeah, so you can always just do that as well. So I've been considering a white label agency called DashClicks. I could request case studies and on the condition that I delegate once I land the client. Thoughts? I mean, do you want to use a white label agency? If you do, then that's definitely the best thing you can possibly do. Because if you're just going, that's the same thing I was talking about with a contractor, use their case studies. Excuse me. So with a white label agency, it's the same exact thing. So you could request, the case studies from them, and then once you land the client, you're gonna give it to them anyway. So you just obviously you charge the client enough for you to make a profit and to pay the DashClick people, and yeah. So definitely. So don't be malicious and just use their case studies and then run the ads on your own. Use their case studies and then use the white label agency. If that's the path you actually want to do. If you want to run the Google ads, I recommend if you're starting out, that's the best thing you can do, because honestly, if you leave it to a person with experience that knows how to get the clients good results, you can always just learn from what they do, and then eventually branch off and do it on your own. But that's actually probably one of the best things you can do. But make sure you focus more on getting clients and stuff like that, because the white label agency, they're always going to be able to take your case and stuff like that. Just make sure you know actually how to get clients and stuff. But yeah, so I would definitely do it if you don't know anything about Google Ads, or you don't feel confident about your skills, and / you want to use their case studies as well. Definitely do that. That's a good strategy for you can use. And yeah, so there's nothing wrong with using a white label agency. But if you eventually want to learn how to do it for yourself, so that way you can keep on with the profit, just make sure you keep an eye on the campaign as well. Yep. Recently joined. Yep. Thank you, Ace. Recently joined DashClicks. I've been provided with all the info to start my agency and get my first client. DashClick is probably one of the best outsourced for SMA. So I've heard of DashClicks. Are they only for Google ads, or do they do Facebook ads as well? Because it sounds like DashClicks is like a PPC thing, but do they also do Facebook ads? Just curious. Let me just look. Just curious of what they do. Oh yeah, they do everything. I wonder how much do they charge? I'm just curious how much they charge for doing it. Well, this is everything. Yeah. And way more. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, how much do they charge for how much do they charge for like if you do like Google it, is it like a set thing, or like is it like depending on the client, percent ad spend, all that? Yeah, it seems like they do a lot. So yeah, it's a good choice, especially if you're just starting out. So that way you could just focus on getting the sales and stuff, and you don't have to worry about stuff. If your client, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a very good. If you're a beginner, definitely, because you want to get basic is around 900. Ooh, that is pretty steep. So that is pretty good. I mean, if you're confident in your sales skills, then definitely, and you can get them the good results as well. So that's pretty. It's not that bad. If you charge them, I'm guessing that doesn't include ad spend as well. So, yeah. So that's not bad. But of course, what I would do is I would try to learn what they like. If you get them like 2 clients, learn from what they do, and then see what stays the same, what stays different, and then you know if you want to keep more of the profit, you can do it on your own. Then if you don't, I mean, you can keep outsourcing it if you're making a good profit from that. So, um, but yeah. So do you have any more SMMA related questions? I'll probably be on for 20 more minutes. Have to use the bathroom, but I'll stay on for you guys. But yeah. And I do plan on doing a lot more of these live streams as well. So you can always come back. I kind of want to maybe do these weekly. Is hotels a local niche? That's a great question. Most hotels are chains. It depends on the hotel name. So for example, if around the corner you see like a Hilton or a Best Western, that's a national chain. And usually with chains and franchises, usually they already have the marketing covered for them. So like for the most part, like the head corporation of the franchise um, handles the marketing. So they don't usually spend more on marketing. You can always outreach and ask because it never hurts just to ask. Um, but with the hotel, like if you see let's say you live in Blakesville and you see like a Blakesville motel, then that's a local area that you can advertise to. So it's depends on the hotel. Have you tried working with real estate agents and listing their property on Airbnb, auto or manual placement, which is better when you have little to no data? Um, with Jenkins, auto placement, because if you have no data, you want to get as much data as possible, so you use auto placement. Most of the time, Facebook's just going to push it through mobile anyway, but just use auto placement to start. Um, it doesn't really matter, especially if your audience is small. You don't want to make it even smaller by adding in placements and stuff. So just use auto placement. Ace, have you tried working with real estate agents and listing their property on Airbnb? I've worked with real estate agents, but I have not listed their properties on Airbnb. I'm sure that it's like not that hard of a process. You can just list it on Airbnb, like list it as many places as you can. Airbnb, Craigslist, maybe Facebook. Yeah, run Facebook ads to them, obviously. I have worked through this. Honestly, that was like my first meeting with a real estate agent. Um, Real estate agents are a good first niche to go after because there's a whole lot of them, and most of the time there's no gatekeeper. I think that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to go after real estate agents at first. It's because there's just simply no gatekeeper, so you can always go after them and stuff like that. How to talk to actual business owner, not the gatekeeper in a local business? This is a great question. This is a very, very good question. So, there are very, very few cases that the gatekeeper's job is to keep people like solicitors like you away. So sometimes you can't just get past. Sometimes there are just times where you can't get past the gatekeeper, and you have to accept that. That like there's no magic word that you can say that is all gatekeepers are going to be like, okay, I'll put you right to the business owner, because some of them are instructed to not let solicitors through, but that's maybe like if you call 1,000 businesses, that's maybe one of them. That doesn't usually happen. So I'll get to your question, Jenkins. So how do you talk to the business owner of the gatekeeper? So pretty much you want to be overly friendly to the gatekeeper, because think of it this way: the gatekeeper is dealing with people of all the spectrums. So they're gonna deal with friendly people, they're gonna deal with mean people, they're gonna deal with people with problems and stuff like that. So you want to be overly friendly. So what I usually say is what I usually say is, let me think for a second. Um, I usually say my pitch, and then I say, can you please connect me with the person who I need to speak to get this set up for you guys, please? And you always remember the gatekeeper's name. So I always ask for like if I miss the gatekeeper's name when they first call me, I always ask for it because it is so important. Because one thing is, for most of the time, if the business owner isn't there, most of the time they won't be for the most part. The business owner is going to be away, not in the office and stuff like that. So what you want to do from there is you want to get the owner's email, and most of them will give it to you. Even if they say, "Oh, can I take a message for him?" Leave a message, but also get the business owner's email address, and then this has actually worked for me. Once you get the business owner's email address, email the business owner, but in the first sentence, say that you spoke with the gatekeeper's name. This is why it's very important to get the gatekeeper's name, and compliment her. Just say, she was very lovely to speak to. I enjoyed talking with her. That way, the business owner knows that, that it's kind of like your kind of connection to the business. And it's not like, you're just not randomly emailing them. Like, you know the business for the most part, right? And then you can go on with the pitch from there and then see what they say. That's a really good tactic. It doesn't really get past the gatekeeper, but it still meets your end goal of contacting the business owner. Another thing you can do is if you know the business owner's name, you could just say, like, hello, like, let's say her name is Maggie. Just say, hi Maggie, thanks for taking my call. Is there any way I could talk to, let's say the business owner's name is Brian. You could say, is there any way I can please talk to Brian, please? Note that I said please twice because I'm being overly friendly. Then they're going to be like, oh yeah, I can connect you to Brian, or they're going to ask, what's it about? If they ask what's it about, just be honest with them. Just saying, hey, I want to connect them, with new business, with more customers, and, stuff like that. And then most of the time, since, everyone's afraid of cold calling, they don't get calls like that usually, they're going to connect you to the business owner. So if you know the business owner's name and just ask to speak with the business owner, you will be able to, get past the gatekeeper. If you don't know the business owner's name, you can't use that. So you want to use what I first said. Just say, hey, I want to get you guys to new business. Can you please connect me with the person that can help me get this set up for you guys, please? And then from there, they're most likely going to give you the name of the person you need to talk to. And they're going to either be like, oh, he's not in the office today. So, you get the email address. You send them the email. Or, you leave a message for them. And if they're not in that day, you want to call back another day. You want to also ask when would be a better time to call back as well. So there are many different things you can do. I should make a video about this actually. This is very important. There are many things you can do to get past the gatekeeper, but the key core concepts is be overly friendly and don't leave without getting the business owner's name, for the most part. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Harris. I'm gonna probably make a video about that because after talking about this, a lot of different things you can do. But what I covered is should get you across 90% of business of gatekeepers. Um, so that should get into the business owner. How do you get your first client on Upwork with no case studies? Um, this is actually not as hard as people think. So the thing is, I can actually go on to my Upwork and just show you guys what I did. So pretty much what you want to do is you want to find the low hanging fruit. You want to find the lowest hanging fruit on Upwork that will actually work with you. So what most people do is, they fill out their profile, they go here, and then they see the job, they apply for it, see the job, they apply for it. So the thing is, these are the people, because I've hired people from Upwork. If I select intermediate, then I want someone with experience. So if you have no case studies, no experience on Upwork, don't apply for intermediate and expert jobs. You want to apply for entry level jobs because if people are looking for entry level jobs, they know they're not gonna have the most experience, but they're more concerned about price and will work for like one of the like for a lower price. Obviously it's still reasonable but a lower price. Um, so what I do is I search for jobs. I go into advanced search and then hold up and just let's say Facebook ads, right? So then once I do that, I I use the filters that they have in order to um, filter, the lowest hanging fruit on Upwork right now. Let's see if this will work. Okay, let me just go here. So pretty much, I already you can save this type of searches you make here. So what I have is Facebook ads, entry level jobs from anywhere in the world. So, these are all these entry level jobs that, people are, these people are concerned. They don't care if you don't have experience. They're just more concerned that, I want, to not pay, too much money for an Upwork client. And the thing is, you don't have to take these jobs forever. You just want to take them until you have enough case studies so that way you can feel confident and you can go after those intermediate jobs. So what I do is I look for jobs that, entry level, the time doesn't really matter, and the proposals are less than 5. This is important. Because if you're one of the first proposals, what happens is that people, like, if they see your proposal and they deem you that you're good and high quality, everyone else is going to be compared to your proposal. So pretty much when everyone else is compared to your proposal, the person who's selecting you for the job is seeing your name again, looking at your proposal again. They're doing all this, they're just looking at you again, and it's cementing you more in their minds than anyone else. So like if you're one of the first proposals and your proposal's actually good, um, they're gonna compare themselves to you, and it's gonna start to form a bias, and that bias is only going to be in your favor. So let me just try. I'm going to just quickly go through the filters that there is. If this ever loads, please load. And if these if these answers are very helpful to you, and they're giving you a step up, or they're helping you be better with Facebook ads in some way, shape, or form, or get clients, please leave a like on this live stream. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Okay, let me go into advanced search. And then Facebook ads, search for that. Hopefully this will actually load this time. There we go. Okay, so pretty much you want to go into advanced search. You're gonna get to this this thing here. So what you want to do is you want to not here, excuse me. Where is it? Sort by. Let's see. No, it's off on. Because there's a way you can. Oh, I'm sorry. It's on the side here now. So pretty much what you want to do is this is where you can find the low hanging fruit. So you want to find people, who want entry level, because you don't need to have case studies to get entry level jobs. The client history doesn't really matter. Less than 5 proposals. Budget doesn't matter. Hours, if you have hours, doesn't really matter. Project length, this is like for your own personal stuff. But most importantly is you want to do less than 5 and entry level, because these are people who don't want to pay, a lot of money, and they know that they're not that they know that if you're entry level, you're not gonna have much case studies. So then once you do that, you can give your proposal, and for the format of like the pivot proposal, I always the first sentence is something that's related to the job posting. Say how you can add value to them or how you can help them achieve their goals when it comes to what they want for the job. And then just say I look forward to speaking with you, and also ask questions in your proposal as well. So that way makes it easy as possible for them to start a conversation with you overall. And then from there, it's very easy to set up the interview. So yeah, so this is exactly what I did step by step to get my first job on Upwork. And it just simply just works. And I can even, so that's pretty much how you do that. If you have any more specific questions, if you want me to go into the proposal that I use, just leave it before it. Comment, Jenkins, if you want me to do that. Well, it seems something different, but maybe so. And let a sales agency conduct the sales call, onboarding communication with client. Also, name of software to film and edit yourself. Okay, cool. No, not really. I wouldn't think it's, because honestly, it's like if I have a need that needs to be met, I don't care who's meeting that need, as long as the need is being met. So interview, and the sales of agents. Uh, um, okay, I'll get to your question, Harry. This is a good question. It doesn't really, it's not gonna matter, um, because it's not. Because think of it this way: if you go to a restaurant and you don't see the business owner of the restaurant, are you gonna be like, "Oh, I feel slighted because I went to a restaurant, I didn't see the business owners, I didn't see the business owner." Like, let's say you see a picture of him when you go into the restaurant, right? But he didn't cook the food, he didn't, wash the dishes, and honestly, you don't care. You just want the food, right? Same thing with, marketing for the most part. Although it's like you do want as much of a connection as possible, you know, you can present yourself and, just say, oh, hey, yeah, one of my reps will talk to you. Most business owners are not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to work with him because I'm not specifically working with him. It will never hurt you, but if you do the sales call, it will help you. Like, I don't think it's going to be the reason why people don't work with you, but it could be a reason of why people do work with you. So, like, with my first client, one of the reasons why he works with me is because the ease of communication. And, like, since he sees me doing, the work, like, he sees me as like with another small business. He likes that I'm like him because he's doing a lot of the work himself as well. So, So that's another thing. It can help you, but it's not going to deter you. And honestly, if the sales rep agency is better with doing the sales call, just leave it to the sales rep agency, because they're going to be the ones to make the sale, and then they're used to that situation. And then from there, you can keep the constant communication with the client if need be. And name a software to film and edit VSL. So what I use Loom to do to film my VSL. And I have let me see. Excuse me. I just use PowerPoint, but you can use Google Slides as well, just to make the slides. Yeah, just use Google Slides for the most part. But I know Loom now. They literally just recently just did a huge overhaul on Loom. So now they made it so that you can only film at max, I think, 5 or 10 minutes. And at max 100 videos. So what you can do is, if you still want to use Loom, just film a bunch of 10-minute segments of your VSL, and then I have a video editing software called Wondershare Filmora. I did pay for this because to make my YouTube videos and stuff. I wanted I want to make I want to use a video software, and this isn't a Mac, so I don't have iMovie. But there are many free ones. There is, I think, even Windows has a film thing, so Movie Maker. Yeah, they do have their own video editing thing. So what you can do is you can just use the basic video editing software you have on your computer. Watch a YouTube video that goes through a tutorial of how to use it. All you really need to know is just pretty much how to cut things out for the most part, like how to trim, which is very, very, very basic. So that's all you really need for your VSL. But to film it, I use Loom. But since Loom now costs money, the filming program that I have does have a screen recording software that I can use to film videos. So I have that, and this was paid for. This was a one-time thing. It was like $50. It was like fifty something dollars to have it for lifetime access, which is very, very worth my money, especially with YouTube. So there are many different software. So you just want a software that can record your screen, record your voice, and you just need an editing software that can trim. That's literally it. Don't need anything fancy or anything like that. If you do not get the results for clients, and if the client asks for a refund in this case, will we reimburse the cost of advertising? Depends how you structured it. So if you said to them, you have to say to them, you will not be refunded for the ad spend, and they work with you, then if push comes to shove, then you don't have to refund them for the ad spend. But if you say, I'll give you a full refund including the ad spend, well, you just shot yourself in the foot, because you have to give them back money for the ad spend. So if you don't get them the results if you don't get them honestly, if you get them some results, they're not going to ask for a refund. But if you don't get them any results, definitely give them back the digital marketing management fee. But unless you specifically stated that you will not, if you say it's a non-refundable ad spend, which is true for the most case, then you don't have to reimburse them the cost of advertising. If you included the cost of advertising in your digital marketing fee, unless you otherwise stated, then you're gonna have to refund them the cost of advertising, because pretty much you just want to cover your base when you do that. So if you say at first, not going to refund you the cost of advertising, then you don't have to. They're not going to expect it. But if you never say it, or you don't allude to it, then it's not going to look good for you overall. Then you're going to have to refund them the cost of advertising, unfortunately. So the best case scenario is to actually just get the results. So yet I have not given a refund, but because most of the time when if clients stop working with you, it's mostly because it's on their end and they can't close the leads that you get. So that's the reason why clients won't really want to work with you for the most part. How long should the client onboarding process take? Depends on your depends on how you need to onboard them. So like with Facebook onboarding, it should take like you know like 10 minutes to get them set up with the Facebook. Harry, I work with contractors for the most part. I do remodeling, solar, and I reach out to roofers and stuff like that as well. Just pretty much anything in the home improvement. That's what I'm in right now. But the onboarding process should, you should have like a step-by-step thing of what the onboarding process should look like. And honestly, with Facebook ads, you just need to, set them up with Facebook ads. That's why I have like lists already made. So that way they can just follow the list on their own and they can do it by themselves. Um, if you have like, oh, we want like an onboarding call, you don't really need to have an onboarding call unless the client, you don't really need that since you're doing all the work for the client. They just have to sit back and watch the leads come in. What you do want to have is either on a call or on a sheet to set expectations. Um, just like, hey, don't expect, a flood of leads coming in as soon as I click, start, as soon as I turn on the campaign, right? So you do want to, have their expectations on lock, but yeah, it shouldn't really take long. Um, like honestly, it should take like 2 or 3 days. But like if when you say client onboarding, it's like setting everything up. Honestly, I honestly just say like when I was first starting, if you have like nothing set up already, just say a week. Just to get everything set up. Like so, like if you make landing pages, if you have nothing already that's already pre-made, just say like, hey, we can get started next week, and then you just don't start the month until you actually start the campaign. That's the thing. So like if you sign up a client for a month, so that's 4 weeks, don't start the client's 4 weeks as a start, as soon as he says yes to you. Start the 4 weeks for when he starts the campaign. So just give yourself, 5 days to a week if you have nothing set up, so that way you have ample time to get everything done, and then you can always start things early. So like I always say, to my clients, like, hey, give me, 5 days to get everything set up. Then lo and behold, I get everything done in like 2 or 3 days, and say, hey, I'm actually finished. We can get started now if you want. And yeah, so it's honestly it doesn't really matter. The client is going to respond, is going to say yes to you no matter where. They may be like, oh, hey, can you like maybe hurry it up a bit more? Just be honest with them, see if you can actually reasonably do it. Just don't be late. Like unlike me to this YouTube live stream, just don't say, oh, it's going to take me 5 days and it takes you a week. Don't be like, oh, it's going to take me 2 days and it takes you 3 days. Be honest. Be like, hey, it's going to take me 5 days. Do it in 5 days or less. For the onboarding process. Depends on your style, depends on what else you have doing, but always overestimate the time, so that way you have some more wiggle room, and then just lost my train of thought. Then just do that. Just do it in like 3 days or whatever. So yeah, so I'm probably going to. I'll take one more question if you guys have it. This was great. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. Really had an awesome time. I'll take one more question, and then I have some other things I gotta do for the day. But I'm probably gonna make these weekly for like an hour or two. So this will not be the last one, and I'm gonna make these more often. So yeah, if you have, I'll wait like a couple more minutes. But if there's no more questions, then I can I'll probably end it from there. So ask your questions now, or I'll probably make like a weekly schedule. I probably won't do it on Sundays. I'll probably do it like during the middle of the week, is like maybe Wednesday or something like that. I'll make a poll in my group chat to be like, okay, when are the best days for us? When is the best day if you want me to do a live stream? Can I WhatsApp clients instead of cold call? If you can find them on WhatsApp. I've never used WhatsApp to cold call people, but I think you can type in the number and then it can make the call for them. Um, go ahead and try it. I guess since you're international, um, try it and see if it works. I don't I've never used WhatsApp to cold call. So yeah. So okay, Harry, what's the best outreach method serving local businesses? Like I'm just gonna assume that for outreach you mean like getting clients for yourself, not getting customers for the local business. Depends on the niche. So, for example, some niches respond better with cold calling and cold emailing. With cold calling, some niches respond better with cold emailing. But you want to find the outreach method that you can do as much as possible, getting in contact with as many business as possible. So for example, like while doing video outreach is good, it could take you 5 minutes to make one video to do one outreach method. But the thing is, if I get a video and if it's something that I don't need or I don't want, I don't care how great the video is, I'm still not gonna say yes to you. Um, um, so for the cold call, if a cold call is what I don't need, what I don't want, I'm not gonna say yes to you either from that. But within that 5 minutes, I can make 5 cold calls instead of just sending one video. So I reach out to 5 business owners instead of just one. So you want to choose an outreach method that reaches the most amount of people, that you can reach a lot of people. But when you're first starting out, I highly recommend you cold call, because how I think of it is the first time, like if you don't have experience talking with business owners, you don't want the first time talking to a business owner a time where you have a potential to make a sale. So if you get a business owner on to an appointment, once you get an appointment, you're like a possible week or two away from actually signing on that client. So you don't want, experience. You don't want to, say things or sound nervous or do something with your voice, something like that, because it's your first time talking to a business owner. When during a sales call, because then during like a discovery call, during a sales call, it's you're shooting yourself in the foot when you're almost to the finish line. If you do it in a cold call, it doesn't really matter, and you get more of the experience of doing outreach, of not only doing outreach, but just talking to business owners. So you feel more comfortable talking to business owners, talking to strangers over the phone and stuff. So that way, when you do get to the sales call, you have experienced what it's like talking to the business owner, talking to strangers over the phone. You're less nervous, you're more calm, and you're more likely to actually go ahead and make the sale. So when you're first starting out, I definitely recommend cold calling. Um, how can I cold call from out of the country? Then that's harder. From then at that point, you can use probably WhatsApp, or I know there's I'm probably gonna do more research on this to make a video about it. Um, you can just use I'm honestly not sure if you, I definitely want to do more research on that because that is a common problem. But Plymouth, don't worry, I didn't skip your question. Um, but there are definitely avenues from there. Then you can consider using cold emailing, um, or just to get consider using cold emailing, or you can probably use if you are out of the country, maybe like there's like maybe like try using WhatsApp to do cold calling. Someone left a question about that. Um, there are other different avenues. So I'm honestly, Harry, I don't have a great answer for that because I just simply just don't know. Um, but I'm sure there are definitely if you like Google it, I'm sure there are ways that you can still do cold calling if you're out of the country. What information do I need from the client onboarding process? Should I send a Google form requesting those details? Also, do I copy those details from the client's website to their landing page? So The details that you want depends on the avenue. So if you're using Facebook ads, um, what you want from them is, and you're gonna say this to them during the closing call, is you're gonna want pictures of their work or their case studies, their testimonials, pictures of their work, and you know, different stuff like that. So the discovery call is you already know their business goals and stuff like that. So you don't need that information. Um, you mainly just want pictures of their business, of their work, and their case studies, and that you could just send an email. Um, Also, do I copy details from the client's website to the link to their landing page if it makes sense? So if if they have like a biography section, then yes, you want to use those details and put it into the landing page. But like you want to make most of the because most businesses websites copy is not good. So you want to make sure that you fine tune it so that way it more appeals in like a marketing sense. So it again it depends on the on the onboarding or the type of like you're doing Facebook ads or Google ads. For SEO, I have no idea what they would need, but I would just get if this Facebook ads you made um you should have made a step-by-step guide on how they can add you as an admin. But you just pretty much just want pictures of their work, um, depending on the niche, case studies and testimonials. And if they have enough emails, you want to get their email list. So if they have like at least 100 emails, just say, just ask for the email list and then always state the reason why you need this. So I forget what study it was, but um, there was the study of like, people wanted to cut people to use the printer, right? So if they just asked the person in front of like, hey, can I cut you to use the printer? People most likely just said no. People did say no. I think 99% of participants said no. But then when the test subject asked, hey, can I cut you use the printer because I'm in a rush? A lot more of them said yes. So you always want to give a reason of why you need a specific um, detail or thing from the client. So pretty much you just want their testimonials, their pictures, and their website, some of their website copy, which you can just get. That's the main things that you're most likely gonna need. Um, but yeah, but with Harry, with you, just if you're in a different country, start out with just cold emailing then, or just cold messaging, and uh, I would just start with that because that way you can reach a lot more businesses in the shortest time possible. Um, or if you do have some money, you can just hire a cold caller that's from the U.S. that has a U.S. number to do that for you on behalf of your agency. That's another way to do it, but I really highly don't really recommend that. But I'm sure there are ways. Let's look it up actually. Oh, I know I can't spell. Uh, yeah, there's not much out there. Through cold calling. So yeah, I mean, or just be prepared to pay any fees and stuff like that for the most part. So yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna make these more weekly. Gonna make these, more common, stuff like that. So yeah, leave a like and definitely leave a comment when this is uploaded on video. And if you can, just post in the group that of how you like the live stream and stuff. We really appreciate that.